So Spencer Rattler went in the final 3 minutes of the Peach Bowl, and we got to talk about what that means after the bumper.
Don't be cornering me. Hold up. Time. You gotta help me with that corner shit.
What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I'm not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. So it's college football related, sports related. We have a good time. And today we got to talk about true freshman Spencer Rattler going in ahead of redshirt freshman Tanner Mordecai, and why Lincoln Riley decided that Jalen Hurts just shouldn't finish the game. I mean, he didn't play well, like 217 yards, and he became the all-time single-season quarterback rushing record holder with 1,298 yards this season on the ground, passing Jack Mildren's total of 1,289, for which he only needed 35 yards in this game rushing. But that was neither here nor there. Neither was CeeDee Lamb's 4 catches for 119 yards. Also makes him the third leading receiver in school history. But none of that mattered as Oklahoma got skull-dragged 63-28. Ugh. This is like the USC loss. You feel so awful. 0-7 in the last 16 years Oklahoma is in games that have national championship or playoff implications. 5 of those are double-digit losses. It just feels awful. But a bright spot was Spencer Rattler coming into this ball game. Now, you'd ask me going into this, who would you see first, Spencer Rattler or Tanner Mordecai? I would say Tanner Mordecai because that's where he was on the depth chart, and that's what Lincoln Riley had been sticking to. But the moment that Rattler went in, both of the quarterbacks that were going to play also looked around like, what the hell is this? Like, Jalen Hurts kind of looking at Riley like, why? And for what? Like, I've been playing the rest of this game, and the scoreboard ain't going to change that much. Like, it's not like I'm going to get an ovation or something. And Riley continued just straight up keep coaching the game as opposed to hugging on Jalen Hurts and telling Rattler to go out there and maybe take a knee or something. No. And not only did he run plays, he threw the ball a little. 3 pass attempts, completed 1 of them, even ran for 8 yards on an attempt. And then over there on the sideline, we see Tanner Mordecai that got this shocked look on his face like, did that just happen? Did Rattler just go in ahead of me? So a number of questions arise from this, not the least of which is, how soon does Tanner Mordecai enter the portal? Half of that is a joke. Half of that is definitely not, because we know that the transient nature of college football players in the age of the transfer portal is just a thing, specifically for quarterbacks. And you'll have to remember, Tanner Mordecai was not Lincoln Riley's first choice in that class. Remember, he wanted Cam Rising. And then Cam Rising flipped to Texas. Didn't work out at Texas. He transferred to Utah. And now he's going to be there with Jake Bentley and Peyton Powell, which is going to make that a really fun quarterback room over there at Utah. But this also brings into question, okay, are you setting this up for 2020? Are you really just telegraphing to everybody, Rattler included, that you're my guy? And I want you to know that. And I want everybody to know that on the biggest stage in college football, which is the college football playoff at the Peach Bowl against LSU. Now, Rattler acquitted himself well. He looked like he knew what he was doing. I know that everybody just thinks that quick release is such a breath of fresh air, and it is that quick, and it is that good. I don't know what you do with your football team now, man. I mean, I understand if this is your guy and you want everybody to know this is your guy, that's where you're going. And Rattler's definitely in there as a leader. I mean, the 2019 class was built around him, and he definitely leads it, and he has all the confidence in the world, and we know that he has all the talent in the world. But I found this just a fascinating move because I thought that come hell or high water, Lincoln Riley was going to let Jalen Hurts do this entire game, because high water came, and so did hell, because you gave up 63 points, and your rushing attack was non-existent. Jalen Hurts wasn't able to see it. Riley was visibly pissed with both sides of the ball, claiming at halftime with Holly Rowe that, hey, man, we just aren't executing. Like, there are points out there that we can go get, and we just haven't gone and got them. No matter how you draw it up, Oklahoma wasn't ready to play this football game, and we all know that from jump. We knew that as soon as it started to leak out that Ronnie Perkins, Ramondre Stevenson, and Trajan Bridges were all going to be suspended for this ball game. That's your third leading rusher. That's your best pass rusher. And then you had the collarbone injury, the break for Delaren Turner-Yell at strong safety, who was your second leading tackler, but also just came into focus just how crappy the defensive backfield is at Oklahoma and why a guy like Alex Grinch did not feel comfortable subbing in a bunch of guys in the secondary, because this is a dude that brought Brian Meade in, for crying out loud, when Kenneth Murray Jr. wasn't able to go. He wanted to be able to cycle guys in on the defensive line, and Oklahoma proved this year that they're actually quite deep on the defensive line. We'll see what that looks like next year. But Buki going out also meant that you burnt Woody Washington's red shirt, because he only played in 4 games. Now he has to play in 5 because Delarian Turner-Yell is out and Buki's out, to say nothing of whatever the hell Chance Sylvie was going to do or not do. Justin Broyles is getting cooked. Robert Barnes is nowhere to be seen. I understand you want to protect Jeremiah Cradell, or you don't think that he's ready to go. And this is one of the reasons you went to go get Justin Harrington, and you're very excited about Bryson Washington and Kendall Dennis and so on and so forth. But my goodness, guys, like, historically, just a horrible loss for Oklahoma. But if you're going to look forward, how do you feel about your quarterback class now, right? Maybe Lincoln Riley knows something that most of us either think we know and just not ready to admit, or maybe it's just that Tanner Mordecai knows something he was going to do and it told Riley about that. I mean, there's so many power moves that could be made here, to say nothing of what Chandler Morris might be thinking about, or any other quarterback that Lincoln Riley might want to go get, as many people would say, out of the transfer portal. Like, this put a lot of people on edge and a lot of people on notice, and I'm sure that Riley's going to try to skirt it away. But this is wildly fascinating, and I can't wait to see how this goes on, because in my head I was going, okay, there's always drama that comes out of these games that are unique subplots to your team, right? One of the things that I love about college football is how parochial it can be, because there are people that are watching this upload who are not necessarily Oklahoma fans, but they just kind of want to know what's going on inside Oklahoma. And this is one of those real inside Oklahoma bits here, because now you're talking about scholarships and scholarship distribution. Because today, even if Caleb Kelly had his red shirt burnt, and he won't, right, because they're not going to play in the national championship, and Kenneth Murray goes into the NFL draft, which we think he might not. CeeDee Lamb definitely goes in the NFL draft, right? You know, and all this stuff, and you know you lose all of your seniors, you're still at 86 scholarship players for 85 spots. So somebody's got to go, or you expect somebody to go, or you have a scholarship waiting around somewhere that you didn't know about. You can sign 100 guys in a 4-year span, all of that, and how the numbers work out. But now with this subplot of Spencer Rattler coming out here before Tanner Mordecai, are you going to force Tanner Mordecai out the door to make room for a 2020 quarterback or a JUCO quarterback? Is that unprecedented? I don't know. It's just a lot of questions. And this is the most fun that we can have about this conversation, because the rest of this is just flat out comical. And now we got to deal with SEC fans, and in particular LSU fans, in a way that, well, we never wanted to actually deal with in the first place, but it's becoming kind of insufferable, right? It's becoming a thing in which it's like, man, there are people that really did not want Oklahoma in the college football playoff because they knew that they were overmatched. They didn't know they were this overmatched. Nobody thought they were this overmatched, but there's a reason why LSU was a 2-touchdown favorite in this game, and it's not just because they've been historically awesome on offense. They also have not really been challenged by anybody defensively. Like, Joe Burrow has just cooked every single defense they've faced, and some of those defenses have been legitimately awesome. Auburn, Florida, Georgia, all 3 of those legitimately awesome. Alabama, legitimately good, right? And there was no real reason to think that Oklahoma's defense was going to be able to put up with it. You were thinking maybe they get into a shootout, kind of like with Alabama, and you can go win that game. Didn't happen, right? But it's also, what do you do with the Big 12? What do you do with the Pac-12? Outside of Clemson, what do you do with the ACC, right? I mean, Ohio State has the Big Ten on lock, but you also get Penn State, who acquitted itself well in the Cotton Bowl. Michigan has an opportunity to get to 10 wins with losses to Wisconsin and Ohio State, right? After skull-dragging Notre Dame, beating down Penn State. You know, like, there's good things to say about the Big Ten. There's really just 3 conferences that you can say good things about, but it's getting tired. And you're hoping a guy like Spencer Rattler can help pull not just Oklahoma, but the Big 12 out of this place where, at the very height of what college football is, at the very thin era, at the top of the mountain, Oklahoma just can't breathe. You know, and that's wildly disappointing, because you work so hard to climb that mountain and to get up there and know that you just can't breathe the thin air. What is it going to take? It's going to take better recruiting? Yeah, probably. It's going to take better coaching? Absolutely, but you're headed in the right direction. Is it going to take more patience? Well, all we have is patience, right? That's the Oklahoma fans' motto. Like, we'll win the Big 12 and then nothing. Sugar Bowl, Orange Bowl, Rose Bowl, doesn't matter. Fiesta Bowl, been to them. When it matters, Oklahoma can't get it done. Hasn't got it done since 2000. Maybe Spencer Rattler is the change agent, but then again, there are people that thought Jalen Hurts was the change agent. Certainly thought Lincoln Riley was going to be the change agent. We'll all be waiting with bated breath for what that is. There are people that are going to live and die, sooner born, sooner bred. When they die, they'll be sooner dead, but they would love to die with an 8th national championship. All right, that's it for me. Doses.